und auch im Livestream dabei seid. Es geht um Präzisionslandwirtschaft. Und zwar haben wir hier heute Dmitry, einer der Gurus der Präzisionslandwirtschaft, wenn ich das mal so sagen darf. Erzählst du kurz was zu deiner Geschichte? Are you giving a little wrap-up of your CV, or should I, as an introduction?
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I can
you
present
go.
myself
Yeah,
a little bit. Hi everybody, and thank you for being here. My name is Dmitry. I'm one of co-founders of Cologne-based company, GeoPard Agriculture. We do precision agriculture platform, which allows to make data-driven decisions for crop farmers. And in today's presentation, I will say you about like high-level status of precision agriculture, modern tendencies, and some use cases, how we help different kind of agribusinesses to implement precision farming practices. Most of slides of my presentation will be in Deutsch, but I will present in English. So, in general, a problem that we have potentially 20-50 years, and as you probably know, there's potential hunger problem that we have not enough food for all the people, and there will be more than 9 billion people, and agriculture should become at least 150% more efficient with the same resources, and crop farming is still huge, has huge share in modern crop production. It's about 80% of total calories created by crop farmers. And unfortunately, we cannot create more soils, but we can control and manage them better. And one of fundamentals of precision agriculture is that each field is heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means that you have variability within the field, that you have zones of low potential, high potential, low yield, high yield, and on average this difference is 500%. It means that on bad zones you have yield outcome 5 times less than in good zones. And with variable rate technology and precision agriculture you can control it and get benefits out of it. So in general, how it works, that you create a map for different kind of agronomic operations, and this map is imported into modern machinery, and different ag inputs application rates are applied. And there are many research about sustainable agriculture and how it influences on the ecological situation in the world, how it influences on the economics benefits, and in general the numbers from region to region a little bit different, but usually farmers who apply precision agriculture technologies, they have about 10% more yield. They save costs on ag inputs like seeds, fertilizers, fungicides, pesticides, insecticides, like all crop protection products, and they really make soil better quality soil, and they do not create a lot of erosion after their work. So enablement of precision agriculture is modern machinery. Each modern tractor has GPS, and it has smart equipment which enables you to control different nozzles with different application rates. And for different operations you have different equipment. For example, for liquids, for crop protection, you have nozzles which apply different pressure of your liquids. For seeds you can apply different amount of seeds per square meter. For fertilizers you apply different amount of fertilizer per square meter or per hectare. You need to have some decision support tool to create optimal maps for different agronomic operations. And depending on your soil types, your agronomic practices, in different parts of the world, it is very, very, very different. And in general, on the left side here, you can see like most of popular data sources which are used to create variable rate application maps. And among them, you have satellite data, machinery, data from machinery, data from modern soil scanners, which allow to automatically detect soil properties without sending soil into agrochemical laboratory. And also high quality micro-relief data, which allows you to create very detailed topography profile of the field. And of course, one of variable in this equation is weather. And unfortunately, weather is very unpredictable. Still have a lot of issues with weather forecast, and each of you have these issues, especially in Cologne and in this area, that you look at your app, iPhone, but it happens that it just doesn't work. And in agriculture, this problem multiplies a lot because you need to plan for the whole season. You need to plan for the whole season what will be your weather. But unfortunately, current state of technology doesn't allow us really to predict for very long periods. So we work with very many unknowns. Another problem that what you read in marketing materials is very different from real world. In real world, you have many very local specific problems. Some of them are related to human errors, but some of them are related with, for example, with drones, not enough good batteries, or some issues with real world, like drone, for example, can face the tree and doesn't change his path, etc., etc. But we should work with what we have, right? And also, we unfortunately do not have reliable real-time data of soils, data of plants, and we need more of this data. And I hope that in future, like more and more companies will start to launch independent satellites, for example, what Elon Musk does with his company, and also it will be used for agriculture. And also human labor. For example, if we want to scout our field to understand where we have like problems or do not have problems, if we just manually research 1 square meter, it doesn't help us to understand what happens 100 meters to the south or to the west. And it means that we need more and more robotics, and in future it will allow us really to make agriculture more autonomous and more data-driven. Good thing that many equipment and machinery companies create their solutions. Currently, most of solutions are related to autonomous driving. Like, for example, American startup Goose, they created autonomous sprayer, which spray in orchards fungicides and other crop protections. We have autonomous machine from Doch, Canadian startup, which was funded by Canadian government and acquired then by Raven, one of the biggest agriculture equipment company. Also, some European companies are quite active there, like Glass, and they're like in agriculture to make everything autonomous. Sometimes is quite easy. For example, in orchards, because you have very straight, clear paths, and it is very easy to make it with robot. But on real fields where you have a very difficult field profile, you have stones, you have trees, etc., etc., tasks are much more complex than, for example, Tesla has on roads, or at least similar level. And that's why, in general, agriculture as a market is huge and it's growing. And here, actually, I don't have all the potential applications of precision agriculture, but we have optimization of seeds, we have optimization of fertilizers, of irrigation, of crop protection products. And according to some research, it is already quite a big market, but it will grow much more. And our approach in GeoPard that there is no simple answer to precision agriculture. We analyze different kind of the sources, and based on analytics of these different data sources, provide best recommendations for agronomists, agribusinesses, and crop farmers. We automate a lot of this. Some things, unfortunately, are difficult to automate because of very regional specifics. For example, you cannot apply the same rules about application of nitrogen in Brazil, in Canada, and in Germany, because you have totally different seasons. In Brazil, you have 2 agricultural seasons, different soil types, etc., etc. And our approach that we analyze satellite data, we create automatically field potential maps based on multi-year of vegetation. We analyze data from soil sensors, data from yield data, topography data, apply to it agronomic modeling, apply to it data science, artificial intelligence, and create decision support system, which in many cases allows specialists to rely on our system and do everything automatically, but in some cases you need man in the middle, and a lot of operations are still in like should be approved by people. And agricultural season consists of many phases, and different agronomic operations are done through the whole season. And for each agronomic operation, you have your own business and agronomic logic. And each of this operation is a separate startup, and you can really create big company out of, if you just provide recommendations only, for example, recommendations when to harvest first. It's more than enough. But reality is that business wants from data analytics companies to provide them all the possible analytics which we can take from data and say, for example, how much crop protection to apply, how much fertilizer to apply, which fields to harvest first, then to make post-harvest analysis, planning for the next season, etc., etc. And we try to automate these workflows. So about our team, we work in precision ag for almost 10 years. We had previously Canadian company, startup. It was one of the first company in this industry where we provided software for independent agronomists. In 2015, our previous startup was acquired by Bayer, a German chemical company. And then we built for Bayer in new department, Digital Farming Solutions, which is called Xarvio. It's now a huge company. And in 2019, we decided to start GeoPard and provide like independent, unbiased precision agriculture platform for different agribusinesses. So some use cases about our clients, etc. For example, in Cologne, there's one of the biggest sugar producing company, Langen. They work with us, different kind of chemical agribusinesses, or one of the biggest agri-holding in Ukraine, for example, is our client. And also in North America and Europe, we work with independent agri-consultants, service companies, etc. And we work currently, we're operating, like we provide software, right? We don't have people in 30 countries, but we create maps for different operations in more than 30 countries. And here's an example of use case. It is our client and partner service company. These guys created electrical conductivity adapter for this box, which measure in real time soil properties, and also they created soil moisture sensor, which you can find here at the back of the truck. In real time, it measures soil moisture. In real time, it sends data to GeoPard, and GeoPard creates in real time variable rate application maps for nitrogen application. It means that it saves huge amount of time for everybody. You don't need to manually analyzes data, then spend a lot of time for this decision making. And for this concrete use case, they reduced cost of nitrogen application for about 30% because they just don't apply nitrogen where there's no necessity in nitrogen. Here's high-level overview of our engine. And on the left side, you see all data sources, different kind of geospatial data sources with which we work. And in future, this list will grow. For example, we'll start to work with drone data, with data from modern satellites like hyperspectral imagery, etc. We have our engine, which use a lot of artificial intelligence techniques, agronomic rules, etc., etc. And we provide benchmarking tools for agribusinesses, like for them to prioritize fields. We provide variable rate application maps for different kind of operations on field level. We create alerts and notification models, and of course also modules for sustainable practices. And for some agribusinesses, because we understand that there are many companies who work in this industry, we also provide APIs. They can build their own solutions on top of our engine. And here's another example of how you can create variable rate seeding maps. It means that you apply different amount of seeds in different zones, and you save a lot of money on about 20%, and yield increases about 10% because you seed more per square meter in good field potential zones, and you seed less in bad potential zones. Another example of applying of fungicide, you just do not apply fungicide where you don't have enough vegetation. It means that if you have a very low amount of plants, you just do not apply herbicides there. And of course, this agronomic logic is different, and you can play with that, but this is a current trend, what many companies do. Also, one of use cases is automated creation of tasks for workers, because every company, they few times per year, they check their fields, manually, visually make photos, etc., but they don't know where to go. In Germany, there are also some big fields, but for example, if we go to Ukraine or Brazil, there are huge fields, like 500 hectares, and it is impossible to, let's say, to scout them manually. And we have many other models. I will just skip them, like for change detection, for multi-layer analytics, etc. It's more for like specialists in this industry. Creation of fertilizer application maps based on agrochemical soil analysis. We also create automatically, and you can directly in the browser see a 3D map of your field, and you can see, for example, that here multi-year yield potential correlates with topography. You have, if you have slopes, you have less yield. And GeoPard is a web solution, it is a mobile application solution, and for agribusinesses and agtech companies, we work as an engine and provide API to them. So, and two more slides about future of precision agriculture as an industry. What we currently see is that 5G will be a strong driver of development of agriculture, especially in rural areas. 5G is great, but at least 4G would be good enough, because currently, unfortunately, in villages, even 4G is a problem. More and more data decision support systems like ours will help with during the whole season. More soil scanners will appear. It means hardware companies which measure different soil properties like pH, nitrogen, phosphorus, etc., etc. More satellites will be launched. More drones companies will be launched, and it means that we'll have more real-time data about status of fields. Of course, autonomous robots, and very important thing is connection between platforms, because currently many platforms are not connected to each other. For example, drone company is not connected to John Deere or class to equipment company. And in terms of GeoPard, we're already a strong player in precision agriculture market, but also we will move towards regional level analytics. We will start to participate in carbon market. We will do more and more analytics like yield data analytics on regional, on field level, etc. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dmitry. I have to admit, the first time we met, I think that was at the last Anuga, and you told me about that you're sending satellites into space, and then you're telling farmers what to grow. I was like, yeah, heads blown. I think that's fascinating. It's incredible also the speed with which the technology has developed. So the question is anyone, yes, question back there. You'll get a mic. Second.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. So I just have one question. So how big should my farm should be, and what is the price to implement your solution?
Like how big does the farm have to be in order to make sense of
the
system?
Yeah.
And how much price should I pay for?
How much price and how big is farm? Yeah.
My farm should be?
I understand the question. So the bigger fields you have, the more benefits from precision agriculture you will have, because it doesn't make sense to apply precision agriculture for half of hectare field. It could be applied, and in future we'll have more machinery which has very good quality rate controllers, etc. But usually precision agriculture is most beneficial for large-scale farming. And but for example, in our experience, we work with companies that provides analytics to their clients with fields bigger than half of hectare, 1 hectare. And then the limitation here is spatial resolution of data sources based on which you analyze data, because, for example, satellites from European Space Agency, they provide spatial resolution of 10 meters. It means that 1 pixel is 10 meters, right? You cannot go more in details, but with, for example, you can acquire data from private companies like Planet Labs, American company. They provide spatial resolution of 3 meter or 1.5 meter, but then it will be for small farmer not economically beneficial, and business model should be different. Maybe it could be sponsored by insurance companies or some concerns, etc. And second thing about price, many companies provide price per hectare. We, in our case, created a little bit different business model. It's similar to Amazon Web Services, where you just pay as you go based on services for which you use, and you just pay cents per analysis.
How much it would be?
Yeah, it could be, it depends. You can check on our website, our pricing is available, but it could be something like up to €1 per hectare, for example. But then it depends on which kind of data you analyze, because if you analyze yield data, soil data, electrical conductivity data, data from plant sampling, etc., etc., it's just for us bigger costs that we need to put on you as well.
And if the farmer is not educated, how do you convince him, or how can he use the data, or how?
Yeah.
How? Because the farmers are not like the engineers, they don't know the data and how to use them. So
great question. That's why we do not work directly with farmers.
But how do you like for example, if I have 100 acres farm, I want to use a precision. Like, how do you explain me in a basic term that how can I understand, and how does it make sense for me to use this technology?
Yeah, and this is the question. Like, structure of current businesses is following that one company cannot close all the chain of precision agriculture. Usually you have local service companies, which are, they train people, they educate people, and these companies look for decision support system providers, and some of them are our clients. That's currently how we work. So we work with companies who are already in this business and who understand what they want, and they search for particular words on Google, and then they can find us. But unfortunately, we're a small startup, we cannot educate all the farmers in the world. We try to do what we do, but it will be not beneficial for us.
Noch eine Frage? Marc hier vorne, Mani, bitte.
Thanks for your presentation. Maybe I didn't understand everything right, but as I now understood is I have to pay a service provider to generate the data from my farmland, and this service provider gives it to you, and I have to buy again this analytics from you, so I pay double. The question for me is, who owns the data? Because this is key how we will transform the agriculture landscape. Yeah, this is a great question. We have applied, we will become a member of Open Ag Data Alliance, which is a consortium of companies which clearly describes who possesses the data and what happens with data, because in agriculture it is a very sensitive topic. And it is, first of all, there are many different business models. Some companies similar to ours, they provide everything for free. But then it is Google-like business models that they resell your data to insurance companies, to chemical companies, to trading companies, for example, right? And then you become a product. If everything is for free, then product is you and your data. We charge fair, transparent price, and how charges look like for end farmer depends on our clients, because usually service companies, they just understand, okay, I want to buy services from GeoPard, it will cost me, for example, dried euro per hectare, for example. Then they add on top of this their own value to make their business beneficial, and then it's final price for farmer. And then it depends really on business logic. For example, some of our clients, like a chemical company, they provide applications for free. But what they do is they recommend particular products from them, right? And you can have analytics from them for free, but then you will pay for agricultural inputs, which you will buy from them.
So it's a very philosophical discussion about who owns data and can data be free, and you have to pay for it. Someone somehow has to pay for collecting the data and making it available.
One short addition that our clients possess the data, but we can improve our models based on their data. That's our strategy, and it is quite fair.
Yes, I was just going to say there is Paul, da hinten noch eine Frage, letzte Frage.
My brother has gotten a farm, and what he did quite early, take samples from the soil to know how much must be injected. And when I compare your model with the traditional, how correct are the figures you get? What's the difference?
Yeah, the difference that we also provide, that's actually what your brother did. He he can work as well with our software, with his approach. And as I said in the very beginning, there are many approaches, and we try to provide some kind of Photoshop for agronomists and for farmers. It means that your brother could potentially use GeoPard for creation of prescription maps based on soil data analysis, which he did. And but also on top of this, he can use other data sources like topography analytics, multi-year field potential maps, etc. And depending on his knowledge and his agronomic decisions, different models could be used for different operations.
Vielleicht auch da gleich noch. GeoPard hat auch einen Stand, Paul hat einen Stand. You both have a booth or like a table. You can intensify the conversation. Dmitry, thank you very much. Fascinating insight. I am fascinated, terrified, all at once. But I think we're going to see a lot of this in the future. Thank you for coming and sharing your vision. And if I'm not mistaken, we're continuing in about 7 minutes with our final talk of the day. Und das ist dann regionale Direktvermarktung, und zwar eine Diskussion zwischen Frische Post Köln, die einen Online-Farmers-Market machen, Online-Bauernmarkt, und Chiconia Software, die einen Marktplatz per App steuern. Und dann geht es darum, welche Lösung ist denn in welcher Situation die bessere.
Thank you everybody. Vielen Dank.